Hey, welcome back to Auto Transport Intel. It's Friday, it's noon. That means it's time for Cars on the Move with Ty and Jay. And we've got a special guest with us. Let's just go ahead and we're live at KC Auto Auction with JD Glover. JD Glover is the Vice President at Elite Transport Services, a division of TA Logistics. JD and Ty, can you see us and hear us okay?
Yes.
Yep, we're here. Thanks
All
for
right.
having
You hear us?
Yes. You
Oh,
look
good.
great. You sound great. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Really appreciate it, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for having
Jay.
us.
All right, so JD, you're the Vice President at Elite Transport Services. Please tell us more about it.
Yeah, so guys, we're essentially a third-party logistics company, specialized in moving cars, any autos, from point A to point B all across the country. So, um, established in 2013 after an 8-year career in the auto auction industry, which I really wouldn't have anything to do in transport without that background from the
Right.
so.
So you're at the auction and it's busy, right?
Full circle, man.
That's
Yeah,
right.
first,
Oh,
background noise. It's lunchtime, so
it's lunchtime. People love lunchtime.
everybody likes lunch.
That's right. We didn't think about that when we scheduled the noontime slot on Cars on the Move, did we? But then again, that could be good.
We're never inside. The reason we're inside, Jay, is because it's raining outside, and we
It's
got a
raining.
special guest. So we're gonna
Right.
bring it. We'll deal with it.
All right, that's cool. And so,
Party.
yeah, well, it is. Now, JD, okay, so like, what are your day to day business? What are the kinds of things you're handling?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're really any auto transport. So basically, we've got two sides of our business from a customer base standpoint. We kind of look at it, I feel, a little differently than others. We've got two customers, right? We've got a shipper, which is a dealer auction, OEM, manufacturer, commercial fleet company, and then who has the actual car to ship.
Right.
And the other side of it is the carrier base. So
Right.
we've got the freight, but we don't own any assets per se.
Okay.
So we have to use our carrier base, our other side of our customer, match those things up and provide freight for those carriers. And the carriers in turn provide a service for us to get our customer the car delivered on time. So, I think a lot of people look at that as, hey, you've got freight, and if you've got freight, you kind of own the market, and it always moves itself. And we really don't look at that. We kind of look at it from a two-sided standpoint of having a carrier base. Also, we got to take also. If we don't take care of our carrier base, we really can't move any of the cars. So
And
really what
you're moving new and used.
well, most of our OEM freight is what we call remarketing freight. It's all off lease, used 1 to 2 year old
Okay. Right.
off lease stuff that the manufacturer still owns. Those cars accumulate in different parts of the country, typically in the Southeast, Northeast, Detroit, and Southern California, kind of the hot spots where where that remarketing freight comes back in and consolidates. And then the manufacturers at that point decide which markets are best to ship that inventory to remarket or liquidate those cars. So we assist in getting those cars to those markets, in a timely manner after they're turned back in. So it's kind of the other side of the OEM business. They're still owned by the manufacturer, but on the used side.
Which I think in the dealer and auction world, which is where we try to focus on cars on the move, that's a big topic. And actually, there's been changes in that market recently, right? Because what they were doing is there was a lot of lease extensions, so you didn't have the same returns, so you didn't have the same traffic that you normally would. Along with in the repossession market, same thing. They were not repoing, and which actually wasn't good for some of those mom and pop repo shops. But there's been a lot of changes lately. What are some of the trends that you've seen logistically that's changed recently and affected your business?
Well, I think when the COVID deal initially hit, we had some stuff in the pipeline for first quarter when things were typically normal, that kind of carried us over. Even though there weren't a lot of new assignments, just as you spoke about, coming in, it kind of, for us, we had enough to kind of keep us going through that time. And, there was the unknown. The auctions were pretty much closed. If they were open, they were having all online sales. The repossessions had dried up because these extensions had been allowed. So it was kind of the unknown, through April. And, we were evaluating our business. We were lucky enough, guys, to be honest, and proud to say this, that we kept everybody going. We've got about, 10 employees that we were able to, keep going. Some working from home, back office people kind of still in the office. But, we didn't know. So we were evaluating everything just as the auctions were and the dealerships were. And then, when things started to, break back open, we didn't know if that fleet volume was out there, if stuff was getting turned back in, if volumes were increasing at these marshaling yards. We just didn't know. And about the middle of May, things really broke loose, and we found out pretty quick that the volumes were going to be there times 10. So at that point, then we're under the gun a little bit, to where we still have to provide service. Right, the auctions need the freight now. The manufacturers need them there to liquidate that inventory as the buyer base came back to the auction. So it's been a little crazy from about mid-May to current.
Yeah.
I feel like we've kind of rallied together, and we tried to stay consistent with the carriers when we did have freight, to, even though the market was fluctuating, we tried to, our guys that were consistent with us and still operating, we tried to get them the freight at the normal rates and keep those guys going, paying them within a day, doing all those things that we did previously, because we understood their needs, that they need to keep the trucks going. We need to get the volume there in a timely manner. So just tried to stay consistent over those, couple months when things were unknown. And, it's paid off for us. I think most of our carrier base is back operating 100%. Able to keep their drivers, or hire guys back on if they did have to furlough them. So it's been a little nuts. It's been great. I love to see the auctions back open. I'm hearing from our dealership customers that they're having record months. I think these online channels and all these things that are happening, to where they can, they've got other sales channels, different functions of the dealerships, that are in place now that weren't 5 years ago, I think helped them sustain business over that time. And the same with the auctions, before simulcast, or before, upstream selling, the auctions just would have been shut down. Right. So it's huge, to have those, at least to have sales, somewhat, to steady the ship during that. So we'll see what it does with the industry, but it's been great. The last few weeks we're keeping up, and we feel like we're getting cars delivered to all these markets, and it sounds like the auctions are doing their part and getting them all sold, literally almost all sold.
Yeah, we just talked to Doug, who we interviewed last week, same auction. I said, "Hey Doug, how was the sale yesterday?" It was awesome.
There he is.
Hold on, here he is. Look at him. Look at him.
This is great. Hey, Doug.
We'll get him coming, man.
Love it, man. I love it. Thank you, man. Well, and so here's a question. We know the inventory is fluctuated. What are prices like?
What? You're talking from a freight standpoint, or here?
Well,
so auction.
And so if the inventory's changed, right? There's been changes in inventory, and the price for the dealer to buy the car, that's gone up, hasn't it?
100%.
And that's gonna affect then. How does that affect the rates of shipping? Or does it?
Yeah, I mean it's depending on market. It hasn't fluctuated much, and that typically from our business, what dictates that typically is capacity, right? If guys are back moving cars, and there's more capacity or less capacity, that's kind of what dictates the market on if we have to rate increase, or if we don't. So we found that even when our volumes are high, we're getting to swell again. Carriers were coming back saying, "Hey, we're ready. We didn't go anywhere. We've been shut down for a couple weeks, but capacity kind of leveled out and really came back with us." We were worried about that, because we were worried if we got hammered with cars and guys went out of business, we can't move the cars.
Exactly.
And
That's
70 to
right.
90 miles of what we're being asked. So we found that as the volumes came back, the carrier demand was there also. So rates really didn't dictate. We actually, with our OEMs, we haven't re-rated anything since first quarter. So been great, and they've been great to work with too. They understood our needs, I felt, and a lot of times you hear from auctions or certain people that they don't care, they just want their cars. Well, I felt like they were empathetic to everybody, being a customer and having the volume say, hey, we know you guys are getting back on your feet. We know we have 500 cars that have to be moved within the next 7 days, but what do we need to do to help you get those moved? So I feel like they're on board there to kind of pulling in the same direction. So rates, to answer your question, I think have been on our end pretty steady.
Well, that's good, and it matches what we're seeing. So, like on the load boards, which I know is another way to gauge and take the temperature of the marketplace, because we go live on Dispatching Live on Thursdays. Yesterday, we actually dubbed the show Transporter's Paradise because there was so much volume and good, for load boards, pretty good rates in all directions.
That $4 a mile has been pretty consistent for carriers, which that's what we like. We want those guys to be, the individual carriers. A guy that's got 2 and 3 trucks, he's got to be able to roll and make
money,
get $4 a mile.
Exactly.
If they can move cars and we can get them more, we understand that that's the function of the business that has to operate clean for everybody to be profitable and to keep this thing going. Because if you move them and you move them quick and everybody's making some money, you get more of them to move, right? So volume. You got to run volume. You got to build relationships, provide service, and move volume. Exactly.
So here's what I like, Jay. JD and I have been around in the same circle. We haven't spent a lot of time together, but we know a lot of the same people. So just before you went live, I'm at work. Hey, how you been? What's going on? We're going to talk about auctions, dealers, and carriers. That's what we always talk about. So as we're sitting here, it's fun because JD literally says and believes the same things we do. You know what that is? Relationship.
Right. I heard him say it. That's right.
So the other thing that I found interesting as you were talking, carriers. So when you say carriers, what are you looking for when you say carrier?
We're looking for, really anybody that wants to grow with us and move cars. It's not, I've said it a long time, you look around the car business and transportation, it's not a difficult business. There's a few things that you have to do well. You've got to find reliable people that have good equipment and to grow with you and to, say what they're going to do. And then we have to do that in return, right? Mm-hmm. We tell them that we're going to do something. We have to follow through. And then, when that marries up, you got a relationship. And when you do that over and over again in different parts of the country, you build a carrier base. And since 2013, that's what we've really tried to do. It doesn't happen overnight. And, but from a carrier standpoint, we're looking for somebody that wants to grow with us. And, we've got guys that just move one car here or there. That's me. So.
Hey, well, I was going to ask you before I forget, if somebody, you're based in Kansas City area, right?
City area, yep.
But you're nationwide. If somebody wants to contact you, they're watching this like, yeah, I want to get signed up with that guy. How to contact you? Oh, Ty's phone froze for a second there. We'll see if it comes back. Yeah, he's back. So how can people contact you to join your carrier network?
Absolutely. And, I'll just make it easy since we're on here today. I'll just give you my cell phone number. So,
oh, nice. Okay.
I get with our operations team, and we've got kind of a carrier side, and then we've got a sales or operation side that deal with the customers. But my cell phone number is 816-621-0556.
816-621-0556. Great.
And then we can, get you with our people, and it's just like everybody, we've got do a little bit of vetting and fill out some paperwork, and then we get the process started, and we're able to open up all those guys to see exactly what we have. And I've heard Ty talk about this, and we try to do this too. You have to know who you are as a business, and the same thing as a carrier base. Ty's talked about it before, but know your lane, right?
Yeah.
Know where you hold your trucks.
Right.
Not everybody has 1,500 trucks like United Road and can haul nationwide, and that's okay. But if you haul from Kansas City to Omaha, we want to know who you are.
Exactly. We talk about that.
If you do that well,
yes,
we can.
Carriers, we always say, carriers, please tell everybody you talk to what's your running lane.
Sure.
They want to know. Yeah.
And if we can do that, then we can most likely build business around your lane. And when you do something, even though it's a small lane, whatever it is, if you do that well, you can make a lot of money doing that.
Dominate your lane.
Dominate your lane.
Own the heck out. So let me ask you, when we say carrier, Jay and I have always kind of gone round and round because I'm a fleet guy.
Sure.
I'm a 9-car.
Yep.
Give me 9 cars, I'll load them and go.
Mm-hmm.
Jay comes from the background of the 3. I heard you talking about him yesterday on your show, the wedgie group.
The wedgies. Go wedgies.
Yeah.
So Jay and I have actually, and what's fun about what Jay and I do is we've really had to come together.
Sure.
Because there is huge fragmentation.
Yep.
The big guys make fun of the little guys, and I was one of them.
Yeah.
But what it is as I get to know Jay and understand that, there is a need for the wedges. So how does that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, we're in that space as well because we've got certain volume. I'll just give you an example. Out of Southern California, we move, a couple hundred cars a week out of SoCal, and they're not 9-unit loads. It's fleet volume. They're off lease, and it's consistent. But most of the time, there's 3 or 4 units that we've got to move in a timely manner. So we built that carrier base around that volume, and most of those guys are the 3-car or 4-car guys, and it's the 2-year-old lease returns, and they're going to one specific place. So at that time, and we do have fleet guys that move that, but most of it, and we've got 7 or 8 carriers that's pretty much all they do. SoCal. Yeah, sort of stuff. So I think there's absolutely a need, just like in the auction business, or the dealership business, there's a butt for every seat, right? So that applies to auto logistics as well, 100%.
Butt for every seat.
Well, and I wanted to ask you, so on the reverse of that, because in that case, probably the carriers are bringing cars to an auction or other remarketing location. But do you find that you have a significant amount of business where it's home delivery and you've got to get into, having the car clean? Does that fall under? You seeing much of that?
It doesn't a ton for us. I mean, there's a lot of companies that do a lot of POV, personal vehicle type stuff, and a little more, complex. We will do that. We've got some snowbird stuff that we will do from time to time because it fell in our lap, and we've kind of it made it make sense. But that's not our sole business for us.
Right.
Dealers, OEMs, auctions, carriers. That's what you do.
That's what we deal with.
Dealers,
every day.
OEMs, auctions, carriers. Live. Okay, so we're touching it again. What do we talk about? We talk about dealers, auctions, transport, parking, or carriers.
Cars on the move.
Cars on the move. Follow the car. Where is it going? Pay attention. Find your lane, right? Build your lane, build your relationships. Where do cars come from? How do cars get here? We're trying to figure this out. We want to help you, the dealer, the auction. How can we help you? And the only way to really help these guys is to understand what they do. Getting to that point requires a little bit. Do you follow Andy Compton on LinkedIn?
No, I don't. I need to.
You should.
Yeah. Check it out.
I'll check it. I think his background may have been enterprise.
Okay.
And I'm almost thinking he came from Springfield. Same Andy Compton, but he's been posting some incredible stuff about how to talk to a dealer.
Wow.
You don't want to talk to them. They're happy with what they're familiar with. They've already got it covered. They don't see a need for changing that. So what can you do that's better?
Yeah.
How can you get their attention? Right? And that's where I say, if we know our lane, man, you talk about dominating. If it's 1 car or 400 cars, 500, and this is my lane, I'll make sure it gets done.
Sure. And I think we get impatient too, Ty, as business owners, whether you're a carrier or a, you know, or a broker like myself. I think we get impatient, and we've been building our book of business since. I mean, I'd take it back to 2005, 2006 when I started at the auction level, because without those 8 years at the auction, I wouldn't have a customer. So I think you have to look at the lifetime ROI of that customer.
Oh man,
of that customer. I've got a guy that I met in 2005 at the OEM level. I still haul cars for in 2020. What's the lifetime ROI of that customer? It didn't happen overnight, but I think we've got to look at that, and we've got to be patient. And another example, we've got a dealership group that we started moving cars for. They have 20 new cars.
Rooftops.
Right.
Rooftops. That's the key word. Know that word, rooftops.
That's right.
Rooftops.
And, we started moving cars with one of their stores. And I think we did, 3 or 4 cars a week, single point moves, online purchases from the Northeast back to the Midwest.
Smart auction.
Right. Open lane type stuff. And those cars still have to get back to the rooftop, right?
Yeah.
So we started with one dealership, and it took about 3 or 4 years, and now we've got, I think, 18 of those 20 stores, and it took 3 or 4 years to build that. But I think if we're patient and we stay focused on our philosophy and doing things the right way and saying what we're going to do and building those relationships, things turn out well. But I think it all goes back to knowing who you are as a company, as a transporter, and then doing that, double down on your strength, knowing what you do best, and then growing it from there.
Yeah, and that's excellent advice too, by the way, because I just pitched a guy yesterday, and somehow these carriers that want in the business have this misunderstanding that I'm going to get rich my first year in the car hauling business.
I think that's business in general.
Everybody thinks
it's easy.
It's easy. I'll make a lot of money. And you said something earlier. This really isn't a hard business. And you hear a guy like me, hey, there's nothing easy about this. Well, we're saying the same thing. And in order for it to be easy, you understand this is my lane. This is what I do every day. I'm here and I'm there. And there are people with ADD, ADHD that say, I can't handle that. I don't want to do that. I just love the load board and chasing money. Okay. Let me know how that works out.
Right. Yeah.
So as we become more focused on the basics, the fundamentals, dealers, auctions, carriers, we start building relationships, and it grows. And just like JD's talking about, he's had carriers and dealers and auctions that were small when he started, and now there's this, I got 18 rooftops. That's awesome.
Yeah. And those things happen, and in that relationship, you're always not going to do things right, and things are going to go wrong. But how do you adapt to that? When things go wrong, how do you fix it?
It's an opportunity,
right?
Every time.
So
every screw up you do, if you do it right, it's an opportunity to gain more trust and more favor with your customer. Hey, we took the whole load of 9 cars to the wrong state.
It's happened.
I've done it.
It's happened.
Hey, sorry about that. We're going to fix it.
Yeah, we'll make it right.
Boom. And get ahead of it. Be ahead of it, right?
Yeah.
You know when you mess up. If you're
Absolutely.
a carrier and you're honest, you know when you mess up.
Absolutely. Real quick.
Get ahead of it. You said I'd be there at 2 and you're not going to make it at 2. Get ahead of it, right? It's the best way to handle business, especially when you're dealing with car dealers. And as we're sitting here talking, it's funny because I don't know if you guys remember, but when the pandemic was in the midst, we're doing our State of the Union deal, Jay, remember that? I said, hey, watch, as soon as the light switch goes back on, you cannot keep up. Car dealers are different people.
You did say that. You did say that.
And
yeah.
You're talking to this guy, and he told us before we got on the show, May has gone through the roof. Good luck keeping up, right?
Yeah.
I know car dealers, guys. They do things different, and they want their cars, and they want them now. The sooner you figure that out, the better off you'll be.
The quicker you move them, the more you get.
The quicker you move them, the more you get. What's pushing that? I always say it's interest, but it's human nature. I bought it. I just spent $300,000 on 9 cars. I need. That's a lot of money, right?
Man.
Sell them.
Got to have them to sell them. It's good stuff.
Man, great stuff.
And
JD, yeah.
It's funny because again, we're we're doing two different things, but we're doing the same thing. We talked
Well,
to Doug
this is the ecosystem. This is the ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool is we're not just talking about something we saw in a pamphlet. We're not speculating. This is actual information. This is real-time stuff.
Well, and two, brokers, it's a big topic, been a big topic. I guess everybody's upset with brokers.
Yeah.
Big deal going on.
Yeah.
And I've said for years, don't call me crying about the broker because you can go do the same thing this guy's doing. He's just out there selling the service.
And I'm proof that I understand that when you get into the industry, you learn, I hate the broker. It's all, it's like city college football teams, the rivalry. But as you understand the business, well, that's not exactly how it works.
Yeah.
And your customer's not a load board.
Right. And I think, everybody does business differently. And those are just facts.
But,
and, it just goes back to philosophical difference of, I like to think that, we do business a little bit different as far as it goes back to that relationships. I know a lot of our counterparts that don't, they concentrate solely on getting freight and getting it priced correctly and then dictating that market down to the carrier. So we typically don't do that. We try to see that, with the carrier as a customer as well. And it's worked for us. We're not for everybody, but for us, we kind of know who we are, and it's worked for us.
Well, one of the things I teach guys a lot, start newbies, is I tell them, go find a guy like JD. JD will keep you safe. All right. And it sounds like a dad talking to a kid, or I don't know what you want to call it, but for years being the big kid on the block, I would bring these little guys in just to keep them safe. And what I mean by that is, here's your work.
Sure.
Here's your money. Well, I'll take care of it.
And that's we try to, with that being said, a few of the services we offer, and I know other people offer the same things, but we've got some other services that, if they do want to give me a shot that we offer that other people don't. But just as far as, work on their truck and getting them paid, we, from a technology standpoint, we could mark a button when they deliver, and they've got money, even if it's on a Sunday, in their account at that time. Wow. So those things are just, important that, you have to know the needs of all of your customers. And if there's things out there and pain points that, we can fix and we can help them with, and, we try to do that, because it goes back to the adage of, if they're able to move these cars and move them quick, then there's more to come.
Oh yeah.
And we move volume. So
it's weird.
We understand. We try to understand.
It's fun talking with JD because he's so right. And that's always, it's hurry up and get them there, because if you do, you're going to go get more. It's growing and growing.
Which is what people want. Everybody wants to be busier.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've covered everything I need. How about you?
This has been great. It's already 12:30. We just blazed through 30 minutes. Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
I can't either.
That's quick.
It's awesome. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
and this is what it's all about. Auto transport intel, cars on the move, connecting dealers, auctions, and carriers. We know a lot of people have questions. They want to build relationships. They want to do better business. That's what it's all about. So thank you, JD, for participating in this week's Cars on the Move. We really appreciate it.
No, I'm a fan. I watch you guys, periodically each week. So appreciate you guys that have me on next time.
Yeah,
cool. Good. Thanks. All right. Keep in touch. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to wrap up the show.
All right, buddy. Be good.
Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you later. All right. Hey, that was awesome, man. So, yeah, this is Auto Transport Intel. This is Cars on the Move. We are all about connecting dealers, auctions, and carriers. We want to help carriers grow their business. We know that on the dealer side, there's a lot of resources, but on the carrier side, to connect with dealers and auctions, because who's your customer, right? We do dispatching live on Thursdays when we look at load boards and talk about rates and spot markets, and that's good information. But if you want to build your business, you want to create better relationships with your customers, and if you don't understand the broker-carrier paradigm and you just think it's a fragmented war, send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. And what if you believe that, we want you in our roundtable. We want to help give you more information. Markets are changing, and the industry is changing slightly. But again, it's an asset-based industry, and and that's why it's so important that carriers make enough money to stay in business and grow. And that's what we're all about here on Auto Transport Intel. So thank you so much for joining me. You guys stay safe. Have a great weekend. And I will see you Tuesday night. We're going to be live with Raven, Vehicle Inspections Reimagined. You guys take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey guys, Ty, CTS Business Coaching. I connect dealers, auctions, and carriers. If you're a dealer and you're not getting your inventory on the lot in 5 days ready to sell, you've got a problem. It's called interest. Like I'm telling you something you don't know. Give me a call. I can connect you with an auction and a carrier, and you can get your cars on the lot in 5 days or less. 417-483-2764. Thanks and have a great day.